This is Dr. Newell. So I want to help you through the operating with signed fractions portion of Mathia. And I'm going to just start from where I am because your problems are not going to be as difficult as this when you first start out. But as you know, when you are working with Mathia, your problems can become increasingly difficult. So I want to go ahead and start here. If you look at this, we are looking at signed fractions. These are rational numbers. Remember, we talked about that. Rational and ratio being the first part of that word. And so there is a comparison, which represents this fraction here. So you are going to answer some questions on the left side before you start trying to solve the problem. So we have -5/8 plus 5/4. The signs of the add-ins, are they the same or different? Well, we know that they are opposite. And so the sum will be what? Will it be positive or will it be negative? Well, I clicked on positive accidentally, but we do have to decide whether or not the sum is going to be positive or negative. Now, we know straight away that this fraction 5/8, the absolute value of -5/8, is less than the absolute value of of positive 5/4, because in order for us to find a common denominator, we'd have to multiply this fraction, which would automatically make our numerator larger, even if our denominator was going to be the same. So it's going to be positive because the number with the greater absolute value is positive. That's the reason why. And then it drops you all these nice notes on the side. When adding two numbers with opposite signs, subtract the lesser absolute value from the greater absolute value. Keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. We've done that with integers. And remember, our integers are negative numbers, positive numbers, or negative numbers and their additive inverse or their opposites and the number zero, right? So we've done that with integers. Now we are bringing in rational numbers, okay? And in this case, fractions. There are also some decimals in here. All right, so it says calculate the sum or difference. If your answer is an improper fraction, rewrite it as a mixed number, okay? So I do have an improper fraction here. I have 5/4 minus 5/8, but I don't want to make this mix just yet because I want to go ahead and see how can I find my least common denominator, because I need that, right? And so that's the first thing I need is a least common denominator, because I cannot subtract 5/8 from 5/4 without having a common denominator. When this pops up, use it. All right. And I want to show you what it is going to do for you. You may not have learned how to find least common denominators this way, but this is a great tool. And if this is something you can do on your own. First, it says calculate the LCD, which is the least common denominator, factors of each denominator. So they already did the factor tree, if you will. They factored out 4. What is 4? Well, 4 is 2 times 2, right? Could I put 1 times 4? I could, but I don't need that because I already know that's not something that I want to work with. And then give me the, and that isn't prime factorization, if that makes sense. Because even if I did do 1 times 4 and 2 times 2, I would have to break down that 4 to 2 times 2 anyway. It didn't ask me to list all the factors. Basically, what they did here was what we call prime factorization. Okay, so now I have 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2, which I know is true because 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8. So the next step says select all shared factors, which means I have it here and there. I have it here and there. So I have 2 sets of 2's that are 2 times 2 is shared between both. And then I have this one left by itself. So there are no more that are shared. Now, when I look across my factors of 4, is there anything that is left open? No. So I'm going to click none. But when I look across my factors of 8, are there any factors that have not been shared? Yes, that too. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and say no more. Now it says, what is the least common denominator? Well, whatever numbers are here, whatever digits are here, I'm going to multiply them. 8. 4 times 2 is 8. Now, I know that some of you are going to say, well, I know that 4 times 2 is 8. Yes, you do. However, I wanted to show you how to use this tool because there are going to be numbers, and I wanted to show you how to set this up for yourself because there will be larger numbers in store for you in your future that you may not know how to do that. Now, what I'm doing here is it says multiply each term by a form of 1 to rewrite it using the LCD. So I have to, since I know that, excuse me, I need an LCD for these two fractions, I've got to multiply my 5/4 by 2 so that I can have that common denominator of 8. I don't really have to multiply this one, but since they put a space here, I'm just going to multiply by 1. All right, so it stays the same. So I'm going to put 5 here. Remember what I do to my denominator, I also have to do to my numerator. So if I multiply my denominator by 2, I have to multiply my numerator by 2. So that's going to give me 10. So now here's my new problem. All they want you to do here, read the instructions, is rewrite the full expression using the rewritten terms. So I'm going to put 10 over 8. Remember to press enter. That's something I failed to do. Minus 5 over 8. Okay. And so this becomes my new equation. 10 eighths minus 5 eighths. Now I can combine like terms. Ways to rewrite expressions. I'm going to combine like terms now. So what is 10 minus 5? 5, and then I keep my denominator, 8. So I'm done on this side. Now I need to go back over here and start plugging in some things. It says use the solver to subtract the lesser absolute value from the greatest, and we did, or greater, and we got 5 eighths. And then it says enter the result of evaluating the original expression using the correct signage. So what you're going to notice is as you go through these, they're going to get rid of the sign. But remember, you told them what the difference or the sum or the product or the quotient was going to be right up here. So it's going to be positive. So I just keep what I have. And I put 5 over 8. Okay. I hope that helps. That is it. I am done. I'm going to move on to my next problem, but I am going to end this video because it's long enough. I just wanted you to have an example of operating with signed fractions.